See, I was going to Zoom, but to get moving in over there, but I don't have to do that, but you know.
I walked out and found the stuff.
You want me to tell you how you got? Oh, yours too? Oh, okay, yeah. Like today, I'm already at almost 7,000 steps today, so at 3:30, so we're doing pretty good. Yes. I know. I actually thought I would have been a lot more than even 7,000. So anyway.
We are live streaming, so we need to be able to hear you on there.
Thank you. So anyway, welcome. It's wonderful to see so many people here for this wonderful workshop. We have two fantastic ladies with us today to put on this workshop. So first of all, we have Stephanie Kelly, and she is a community health manager, home care manager for Just Like Family, Kingston Home Care. So, welcome, please, to Stephanie. We also have with us from Pilot House a fantastic person, Janice Hicks. And Janice is going to share so many ideas for us for all levels of care. So, I'm not going to say any more about these wonderful ladies. I'm just going to turn it over to them, because I know you're going to enjoy it. Please welcome them.
You may recall John F. Kennedy said a couple of years ago, crisis. In Chinese, the word crisis is written with two characters. One is danger, and the other is basically finding a solution. And There's been some debate over the exact etymology of those characters and words, but the word crisis means so much to all of us. And the two characters that make up the word crisis are exactly what it is. Hands up if you had a family member, mom, dad, spouse, have a health crisis. Put your hand up if you were the sole person responsible for solving that crisis. Anybody want to just tell us how that felt? Throw a few words out. Put your hand up if you want to just throw a couple of words out to describe the way you felt when you suddenly were faced with this crisis and you had to make a decision.
Ill prepared. There you go.
If you ever saw the movie Steal Magnolias?
Yes.
How I feel when she went crazy in the movie, that part of it, that's what I felt like, woo!
Yeah.
Panic.
Yeah. Panic and crazy.
Overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed. Sorry, I don't teach you writing anymore. Panic. What was the other one?
Crazy.
Overwhelmed.
Yeah, overwhelmed, panic, crazy.
Ill prepared.
Ill prepared. That was the first one. Who said alone? Bingo. Very good. Yeah. Okay, so we'll start with those. That is what I come across every single day in my workday. What I do is probably one of the most gratifying things and the most heart-wrenching things that I've ever done in my life. Because I'm dealing with people that are feeling these emotions and we're not thinking straight when things like this happen. We need somebody to hold our hands. There's lots of books out there on how to get pregnant, how to catch a man, how to keep your man, how to get rid of a man. There's even books on how to die and how to go through chronic illness. There's not a lot of information out there for us who are all aging to figure out what our next steps are. We talk about our financial plan. That's kind of the end of it, am I right? When you talk about your retirement plan, as teachers, I think the whole plan is all built into the program. That's what you're aiming for. But that's all you think about. You're not thinking about the rest of what do I do if? Because most of us think that when it's time to get care, we think of this: sitting in the front lobbies of a long-term care home. That, thankfully, has changed over the last, say, 15, 20 years. A lot of new operators have come in and made some beautiful retirement residences. And so now there's a lid for every pot. There's something for everybody's budget, activity, anything that you want to do, you can find somewhere that is going to float your boat in retirement. But you also need to think about how to fund it, because we're living a lot longer now too. I get people regularly saying, I don't know if I can do this because I might be living for 20 years. I can't afford $5,000-$6,000 a month in retirement. So there's options. There's other places that you can live that's a little bit more reasonable. How many of you have had parents or spouses in a retirement residence? On a scale of 1 to 10, how many of you would say it was between a 5 and a 10 experience? Ah, awesome. That's good to see. So that's it's there. We're also afraid of making that next step. but it's there, and we have fear, and we want to take the step, but we're fearful, and we don't know who to ask. Tell me if you have spouses or family members in long-term care. And how was that process? Was it difficult?
No, actually, it was quite easy.
Okay.
Yeah. She was referred, going from a retirement home to long-term care, and it was easy peasy.
Yeah. That actually, I don't hear that going from retirement to long-term care is probably the most seamless way to go into long-term care. How many of you are familiar with, it's now called Home and Community Care Services? And who's familiar with the words CCAC? And who's familiar with the word LIN? Do you know that those are all exactly the same things? And they've changed that name about 8,000 times. And we wonder why it's so difficult for us to find care for our loved ones. That process is fantastic. If you can hang on to somebody, if you get a care coordinator and you need to start the process, once you get in, it's great. Finding where you need to go to start the referral, to ask the questions, get your questions answered, is almost impossible until you know where to go. So that's what I do. That's what a lot of other people do in this field. There's a lot of people all over Ontario that are doing the same thing. What I do is take you by the hand and walk you through the process. I've seen almost everything, and I will get you from, oh my God, what do I do, to, we did this. And it might take a year, it might take 2 weeks, depending on what the process is. And myself and other senior advisors, we will do this. We will sit down with you, figure out what your loved one is needing regarding care, assistance, anything they possibly need. We'll sit down, we'll figure out, and then we'll start looking around. We'll go and look at a couple of places. I will do a lot of the in-person tours myself to start with, just to take the onus off you. A lot of people are still working. They don't have the time to mess around and go and tour 5 different places. So I will go and narrow it down and then just walk you through the whole process and then get you across the finish line. And then we go, okay, because then all of those visits that you've been having with that loved one are now visits. They're not grocery shopping, taking for doctor's appointments, all of the things that are normally done. It's just a visit. So does that kind of give you an idea of what I do? I do a little bit of everything, so it's sort of hard to just go, I'm an engineer and I build bridges. Yes. I basically say, what do you need and how can I help? That's what I do. What does your retirement look like to you? I know some of you are sort of already in it. Put your hand up if you want to give me a descriptor of what living in a retirement residence or retiring at home with home care, or what it looks like to you when you finally get to a point where you need a little bit of assistance. What does that look like?
Exhausting.
Ah, okay.
Exhausting.
Okay. Tell me more.
I'm the sole caregiver for my husband. I'm 82, he's 81. Sorry, I'll be 82 tomorrow, not today. He was diagnosed 7 years ago Of course, you don't start with Alzheimer's the day you diagnosis. It's before that when these behaviors are inexplicable. You don't understand why your loved one is doing certain things. The stage we're at now, he's still very healthy physically, but his short-term memory doesn't exist almost. We have not yet put our names in a long-term care home, and I'll be happy to hear you talk about that. We have 3 daughters. For most of the time, all 3 lived in Southern Ontario. Now 1 has moved back to Sudbury. I'm hoping to get some help there. It's very, very exhausting. You have to be on all the time when you're living with someone who has Alzheimer's and I'm sure other problems as well. You have to plan what you think they are going to do or want. All the appointments, all the just the unexpected things that come up every single day. I'm here at this conference because my husband is with my daughter in Toronto. Other than that, I would not have been able to come. I cannot leave him overnight. He does not take his meds unless I tell him. He does not brush his teeth unless I tell him. He will take a shower if I tell him. I'm ending.
Can we talk after? Sure. Because I may have a couple of places for you to contact.
Sure.
Are you getting any help into the home right now?
Pardon?
Do you have any assistance coming into the home right now?
I contacted CCAC. They told me they would open a file. I have no respite at all. And, except, like I say, this week. But, I'm ready to cry.
It's okay. It's okay. What's your name?
Erna Fex from Sudbury.
Erna. We all feel what you're feeling right now. Thank you. And I'm really sorry that you're going through this. And this is why I'm here. What I just said earlier is if you get the right person with CCAC or the LID, you're golden. But getting to that point, it's a Herculean effort. And most of us, when we're in our 80s, don't have that kind of energy left over after we have been caring for our spouse. So, again, that's where somebody like me comes in. So I might be able to connect you with somebody to help you take the load off.
If I could just add something. 2 weeks ago, my husband had to be admitted to hospital again. He was there last year for 2 weeks, this year 1 week. When he is in the hospital, that's not respite for me. I am in the hospital all day with him because he can't answer questions or he gives the wrong answers. I have to be there all day. I come home wiped out.
Thank you. It's also worth noting that these are the people that we married, and they are not necessarily the same people that we married anymore, which adds even more anguish to the process. It's difficult. So if you have somebody walking alongside you, it can be a lot easier. If you have family, which is great, but not all of us have family close by to help us through this process. You need somebody to guide you, and the CCAC, Lynn, Home and Community Care, I thought was going to be next week. You need somebody beyond them because there's only so much they can do as well. If somebody came to you and said, okay, you ladies are responsible for building the retirement residence that you want to live in. I need 10. I need 10 ideas, 10 things that are important to you in that retirement residence. Throw it at me.
Single room.
Single rooms.
With bath.
Private bathroom.
Absolutely.
Walk-in
Most retirement residences have private bathrooms.
Oh,
Yeah. I mean, you guys, most of them do.
a shower.
I think it's the design of the retirement home or the long-term care. It should be a village, like a village surrounding, and there's a community court, and people can easily access the inner circle
Yeah.
without having to go out. So that way, they're
So
always
village?
meeting. Yeah, courtyard.
Are you familiar with Schlegel Villages?
Yes.
That's exactly their model. It's brilliant. And when you walk in, you truly do feel like you walked into an old-fashioned village. So if any of you live in Southwest Ontario, pardon?
That's in Holland? The village you're talking about is
No,
in
it's
Holland?
there. It's a chain. It's here in Ontario.
If I could ask, please, I'll try really hard to get to you, but we are live streaming and the folks at home want to hear you as well too, your questions, so I need to get to you. Just give me a second, I'll get it.
Food, and I say that because I helped a friend move into a retirement home, and the food for the first 3 months was good, and after that it went downhill pretty darn fast.
Okay. That's a biggie. When you are moving into a community where you are relying on someone to make all 3 of your meals for the rest of your life, you want to make sure they know what they're doing. And as I always insist that everybody go have a good meal at the residence before they decide.
Physio,
People who are older, of whatever age, you have injuries, you need rehab of some type, whether they have a workout room, whether they have a pool, whether they have a hot tub, things like that to help people, or even walking areas.
To that end, the CCAC, Lynn Home Community Care Services, they do provide physio through their organization to come to all retirement residences. So the residences themselves at this point, we're building our dreams, but at this point you can still access that type of therapy in-house. But we want it. We want a full-time physiotherapist. Let's throw a massage therapist in there.
We need staff that have some kind of continuity, not a new person every day.
That is a biggie, isn't it? That's always been a bit of a bugaboo, and we know it's on the news every day, staffing is an issue. And I don't see it getting any better. I hope somebody's got a plan, but that certainly is an issue. And Stephanie can speak to this. I can assure you, all of the home care providers are ripping their hair out trying to hire. Nobody wants to work.
Not for the price they pay. Yeah, not for that.
Well, you know, but there are people that will pay. I mean, that will work for that wage. So I don't know what the issue is, but that is a huge deal. And it would be really nice to have the same person coming every single day, and you know who to expect. And I'm going to put that at the top of the list. Because continuity is huge, isn't it?
How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 more. Hairdresser. Oh, yeah.
I'm going to add one here for you. Stimulation or activity.
Yeah. What kind? What kind? Something more than bingo, right?
She added a descriptor, enjoyable stimulation. I wasn't going to say any such one. recreational activities. Just activities that bring the group together, that make these people feel included.
So that's actually come a long way, and I can tell you that your generation is changing and paving the way, thank you very much. For me, we'll be there just a couple of years later. Because look how far we've come. Your parents went into an entirely different type of retirement residence, didn't they? We called it old folks home, or the old age home. And it looked more like a hospital in a clinical setting than the current retirement residences do now. So that's why we're having this exercise, because what you want is what will be built. Because if they don't build what you want to live in, they won't have any residents. So when you're voting, when you're out there talking, make your needs heard to the people that are making these decisions. Because I think also you are in a very special bracket where you're going to be sort of bumping up the level of service because you have lived a nice life. We've lived a nice life. We haven't had too much strife in the last couple of years. Things are different now for you than they were for your parents. And so you can make a difference in the retirement homes that are going to be built and the services that they provide. Another one?
Personal services like hairdressing, manicures, pedicures, just to make you feel better.
Yeah, so a spa.
A spa.
Girls, you're singing my song. All right.
Yeah, so.
Nancy, wait a minute.
It's okay.
As to the trying to get people to be specifically in one building, even in our hospitals, the government does not allow full-time service. All of the nurses are part-time because they will save on their health care, they will save on that. That's the same thing that's happening in the nursing home. And the other is music therapy. A statement was made many years ago that one part of the brain that is not, as far as they can tell by testing, that is not affected by dementia is music. The part of the brain that remembers music, and I don't mean just singing. There's movement and getting up and instruments and just even the enjoyment of it, and music increases it changes your brain for positivity and things like that. So that was thank you.
Well, we all feel different when we're singing, right? Or listening to music. It changes you. Have you seen the? I do go on. Okay. Have you seen the video of the ballerina with Alzheimer's? No. Oh, I wish we could come back tomorrow and watch a video together. If you're interested, leave me your email on your little ballot, and I will send you this video. It is a woman, she's about 100 years old, and I'm not being obnoxious, I think she is around 100. And she was a ballerina, and she has Alzheimer's, and she's not vocal, she's in her chair, and her son puts a headset over her ears and plays, I think it's a song from Swan Lake. It is Swan Lake, because she used to play the swan. And she listens, and all of a sudden, her very long, lanky arms start doing this. And she knows she's literally doing the program, the ballet, all just sitting in her chair. I'm going to lose those. It's beautiful. So if you would like me to send it to you, leave me your email and I'll send it. It's easy on YouTube somewhere. All right, do we have any questions so far?
I was just wondering, I think the ratio, patient, caretaker ratio should be increased, and the amount of time that caretaker has with the patient. Like right now, it's ridiculous, and that's a major factor why people feel alone, but they're overworked.
Yeah, again, that's a staffing issue.
But it's more than a staffing, it's a funding issue.
Mm-hmm.
So the government has to be behind the long-term care. They've got to put the money, and it's put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah. Unfortunately, or thankfully, I am up here representing the Ontario government. So, that's out of my wheelhouse.
We're also talking retirement home as opposed to long-term care.
Yes.
Outings, restaurants, waiters, theaters, grocery stores, bakeries, you know, like a schedule where you really go and feel independent.
Where do you live?
I live in Hamilton.
Okay, I can tell you right now that the Amicus and the Del Manors and the Chartwells are all doing activities and areas like that.
Okay,
Yeah.
They're also over 7,000 a month.
Yeah.
Some of them are. The Del Manors, the ones that I used to work at, were there 5, you know, for one person. But yeah, you're okay.
I mean, that's actually Amazon was looking it up, and they're about 7,200 a month.
Yeah. But some of the less expensive ones also do that as well. Yeah. And you know, you can tell when they have an active activity program if they have a bus.
Yes.
But not everybody can afford a bus. So some of the mid-range companies will have taxi vouchers or whatever. But they're still going to get you out and they're going to be doing this. It's all about the director of recreation. Again, it always comes down to the staff. Who you got in the building. Again, there's a very solid line between long-term care and retirement care. I can stand here wholeheartedly and say retirement they have figured it out for the most part. Not everybody can afford to do what some of the big players are doing, but most retirement residences have figured it out. I just recently went and helped out a smaller, struggling property that is cute as a button, old as the hills, has incredible care. They don't have any real outings. They go in taxis when they want to go places, but it's a small town, so there's not a whole lot to go to. It was one of the warmest residences I have ever been into. And there's a lake for every pot. The people that live here have lived in this small town their whole life. They don't want it for much more. They're good. They've got the people that they've known forever. They're good. They're happy going to some of the outings. They'll go for lunch. They'll go down to the river. But not everybody needs all of the, let's go to cheese kind of activities. There's a lid for every pot. That's my famous motto. I didn't write it, but I like to say it all the time. Yes?
Not for profit.
Yeah, I hear that a lot.
The fact that so many people are making so much money.
Yeah.
And they've invested money into these facilities and they're getting money from them is appalling.
But again, where does that money come from if we're building not-for-profits? If we don't have investors, private investors, where's it come from? My pocket, your pocket, your pocket. Yeah. Again, I don't work for the government, thank God.
I'll just apologize, I wasn't here at the beginning, so I had my question maybe off base or something, but I was thinking about this idea of, say, 3 or 4 seniors getting together and buying a house together.
Yes. I was going to sum up, that's my dream. Do you have any description of that?
Well, part of that comes to my mind is what about the legal aspect of it? How do you figure that out? But then if you've got, say, 4 people that, know each other and get along well together, and then they're sharing all the expenses, and then, they can do these activities together and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
I've read some articles in the Toronto Star about a few people that are doing that. And a lot of us, that our husbands are gonna go before we go, right? And a lot of us are women. A lot of us are women, right? And then I thought that just seems like a good and then you're supporting each other and all that. Yeah.
You've hit the nail on the head for my perfect retirement. When I'm 80 years old, possibly younger, I want to live in a community. I want to live in a community of people. I want to live in a community of like-minded, maybe, or different. I just want to live in a community of normal, just a regular community, full of folks just doing their thing. I want us to all help with dishes. I want us to all help as best we can with making meals. Those who can't, that's all right. What about you? We'll take care of you. All of us pitching in the best way we can. And as we age, the younger ones keep moving in to help us who are not as able to manage all the tasks of the home. We have a nurse that comes in once or twice a week and visits all of us all the same day. We have a doctor on Doctor Day that can come in and visit all of us all on the same day. I don't know, to your point, I don't know if there's any legality involved in that. Like, I just look at that like, we could all just buy a house together and live. Who's going to stop us from doing that? I think it's a wonderful idea, and I have worked in many retirement residences, and they're beautiful, like many of them are gorgeous. And I look at that and go, I could totally live like this. It's living on a cruise ship, really. And then I think, I really just want to do my thing with a bunch of other people, and that suits me. There's a place in Soup, British Columbia. Do you know where Soup is? The bottom southwest point of Vancouver Island. There is a village that was built there. It's all bungalows, and it's not a co-op, but it sort of operates as one, and it's all older adults, pretty much living exactly how I described. So, in about 20 years, if you're looking for me, I'll be inside.
That could help with the housing crisis too, if we had.
Yeah.
Hi. I was also going to suggest that pet therapy. My dog is a St. John Ambulance Pet Therapy. She's 15 years old, and I just had to retire her from the program. She is a wonderful border collie, and I know that most cities have pet therapy programs, and that is something that even as we right now can do, going out into the homes. But all you have to do is let the coordinator of the city know that you are looking for a dog to come in and visit.
And I think many of the long-term care, the retirement residences absolutely do that. If there's a desire, they have the rescue dog or the therapy dog come in. I do think that they also offer that in long-term care as well. Go ahead, sorry.
I was just reading an article in Maclean's magazine because I originally liked Your Thoughts. And it's where you can invite other people to come and stay in your house, like a university student, so that they're helping. So you give them a break in rent, they help you, and you get that energy that they have so that they're staying young again. And that's being done in British Columbia as well.
And they're all smoking pot in British Columbia.
No, that would be the seniors.
We're doing the dummies.
I wanted to say something, and I don't want to be out of line or anything, but as I'm listening here, my dad passed first, my mom passed 13 years short of being 100. And my mother benefited more because when Dad passed, our family, we were very lucky, and all those words you said about being alone, even though we were a group, each and every one of them felt that. But our salvation was, our saving grace in all of this, I just realized how religious that sounded. Sorry, I didn't need to go in that direction. But we did this early. Everything you're saying, I'm sitting here, don't say anything, but when your parents are able and you ask them and what they want, My mom and dad didn't want any extra measures in the hospital or anything like that. And I remember somebody coming up to me and saying, how could you do that? How could you, have a knock resuscitation? And I said, the best gift our parents gave us was to make that decision. And as their children, you carry it out. But so I had no guilt, I had nothing. But sit down and talk to them like everybody's in a good place. But everybody waits because you don't want to see it, you don't want to accept it. But if you want to do the best for your parents and your heart, so that you're carrying out their wishes when you get to this point, if everything can be done, the house was sold before, so there were no legalities. There's so many things that you can just do as a family, or by yourself, or with a friend. So I just wanted to yes, with you. So if you can do it when they have a say, for some reason it's just later. And easier, so I'm done, thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
No prayer.
And this is perfect. This sort of wraps up sort of my angle with, we started in a crisis. If you do what you just said, there is no crisis. It'll feel crappy. No, that'll happen. But you will have at least a game plan in your head. Because there will be a crisis, there will be something that happens. And at least if you have done a little bit of research and you have an idea of what direction you're going, it doesn't matter if it's all exactly the same as how you planned it out 5 years ago, you have a plan. And you completely avoid the crisis and the pain that comes from pretending like it's not going to happen. I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to help.
One more little thing. I don't know if you've talked about this already, but it's not just our parents, it's our spouses.
Yes.
Yeah. You need to have those conversations. Yeah.
So, you are an advisor with Pilot House. Sorry? You are an advisor with Pilot House?
Yes.
What is Pilot House?
So Pilot House is senior advising. So if you call my number, you're calling me because you need something that we just spoke about today. You need some guidance, something has happened, you've had a crisis, or you just want to make a plan. And we sit down together and figure it out. So that you have somebody walking alongside you and holding your hand and giving you the ins and outs of how to get from point A to point B, because sometimes we don't know, and you don't know what we don't know. I know the other side. I know, the back end of retirement residences, the administration. You have somebody that can sort of walk the walk for a little bit and set up home care and set up long-term care. You call me if you need anything that we just spoke about today.
So then how are you paid? Does the family pay you?
It depends. Sometimes, mostly, I have a flat fee. But we sort of arrange that based on how much time is going to be involved. Some of the retirement residences also will pay a referral fee. So if they pay the referral fee, if you end up choosing a place that happens to pay that, you get your money back. So it doesn't cost you anything. I also have found that there's other ways of getting through this. We can talk, but for the most part, it's a fee for service. Not all of the residences do the referral fee thing, and I often refuse it, just because I don't like looking like I would ever be taking a client somewhere because they need to get paid. I don't like the way that looks, but I'm very transparent. Sometimes that does happen, so I usually just refer it. I will often donate it. It just depends. But mostly plan on writing me a check, and then we'll go from there.
Excuse me, in terms of Pilot House, is it available to us, in our case, women across Ontario? Do you service men in this area? Are there Pilot Houses through Ontario? Are we able to contact you? Like, for example, I'm in Sioux.
I'm a sole proprietor, but there's a network of us that work all over Ontario, and I can very simply connect you with somebody who does this in the city.
So what we would do if, in that case, possibly we had you as a contact right now, contact that number and they would move us onward.
Yeah, so I would connect you with people that I know are doing the same thing. This is not a big company, this is just me. So when you're calling, you're just getting me. I will go through my notes and I will find you somebody to talk to in the city who's doing the same thing.
You said earlier that initially you say, okay, write me a check. What are your fees like? I know that they could go other ways, but basically how much is your fee?
Typically it's $750.
For a visit, or how does that
No, it's a flat fee. And so we could be working together for 2 weeks, we could be working together for a year. But the time usually adds up to be about the same. I sort of figured it that, it's usually around the same hours that are put in. I'm certainly not doing this to get rich. I'm doing this to provide a service. And so I just sort of figured that the flat rate works because most people aren't going to be having this discussion with me and then boom. Okay, we're moving in next week. And then, woo, I had 2 hours working, I got $750. It never happens like that. It's usually a much longer process. So it all works out.
Do you lead people toward legal information, in the direction of legal information, in the direction of medical, in the direction of placement? Is that the breadth of your scope?
Medical, I don't really have any jurisdiction over, unfortunately. Nobody can get a doctor, so I can tell you what is going to be required of you if you make a decision for either yourself or a family member to move into long-term care, to move into retirement. I can tell you what medically is going to be required. But there's nothing I can do as far as medical referrals. But I can certainly, I have a network of people that I trust, especially working with seniors. So if you are looking for a lawyer, I have a couple that I would suggest. Real estate agents that actually understand how to work with seniors and not. It's different. When you've lived in your house for 60 years, you need an agent that understands that. Not, Joe Schmo, 23 years old, good, I'm really good. You need somebody that understands your situation.
And someone that would clean that house out.
Oh, yeah. I have people. I know people that will do that.
Okay, I just a word of advice, planning ahead. Our daughter's a nurse and she said, Mom and Dad, you need to change something before you need it. Yeah. And so we sold our house last year, and with that money we built a brand suite attached to the original house. She owns the whole yard with both houses, but it's one dwelling. And it's totally accessible.
Lucky you. Lucky you.
Yep. Because we don't want to pay probate, we don't want any of that planning ahead. So I really encourage people to do that. Not necessarily the same thing, but plan ahead. Yeah. So that your children don't have to.
It takes away some of the pain. It's a hard conversation to bring up with the people that you love, because we don't really want to talk about our parents getting older. None of us all have that conversation, but you have to. Yes? All right, so before I hand it, wait, I'm not done. Let's order pizza. Let's stay here. I'm going to draw after we've had Miss Stephanie. I'm going to draw for a couple of these items here. So there's a nice little bottle of wine in here, with a bottle of stuffed olives, okay, and one of Ina Garten's cookbooks. I thought we need to just light this up. Somebody's going to go home with some fun stuff tonight and have some fun. If you haven't filled out a ballot, please do. You can pass around the box and make sure everybody's in there. And when Stephanie's done, we'll draw a few names. And I'm going to introduce to you Miss Stephanie. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for your time. Oh, you're welcome, Janice. Thanks for coming.
Sorry. John and I are here to get into the scope that Jan spoke about, because home care is a whole different world. It's only one small element of what Jan can do in the whole agent case. Anyway, I'm gonna make it really quick, but I just wanted to say, we don't have a lot of time anymore, but aging in place is one of the things that we do, and Janet touched upon everything that we find challenged right now. But what I would be saying to all you able-bodied young ladies is exactly what I said. Try to make that decision to get care at home now. Even if it's one time a day, one time a week, twice a week. Start taking it easy, start taking care of your health, start focusing on, exercising, keeping yourself as healthy as you can. Lose the need to do all the dishes, to do all the laundry, to do everything else. Home care we're trying to change the realm of home care to thinking that we're taking away your independence and your dignity. It's not. We are partners. Home care is a partnership with aging in place. We really want to make sure that when you have someone come into your home, that we provide the services that you need, that once you do the shopping with you, do your laundry, do the cleaning, provide that personal service so that we are there when you need it. It's very hard to see. A lot of my clients are halfway in the door of a long-term care and in retirement. And it's too late when you call a home care and say, I broke my hip, or I no longer remember some things to do, I need some help. Like I said, it's crisis. So what we're just trying to do in home care is, talk about what we can do for you to alleviate the stress in your life, to alleviate physical things in your life, and to put that in place so that when you are getting older and you might start having a bit of dementia, or you might start your physically abilities go down, you've got that person that you trust and love that's in your home, because it is a lot. So I know we have a lot of time. I want to make sure that you guys get to where you're going, but ask me any questions if you have time over. I can tell you all about home care, what we do in Kingston, and our just like family home care is across Canada as well.
Why are there such discrepancies from one region to another in what home care can be provided? Sorry.
It's a big question. In the sense of what can be provided, like in the home, like some can't. Okay, so I get this all the time too. I have clients that come to me and say, I love your company. You guys can do the dishes, and you can do the personal care, and you can do everything, which is what I would expect it to be. And they all say, well, no, I had a lady come in and she couldn't do this, and she wasn't allowed to do that, and she only could do it for 2 hours, and she wasn't allowed to touch this, and she couldn't change my Band-Aid. I'm like, what? That I don't know if it's the bigger companies have a lot more legal liability versus a small company like ours, where we place someone that can do everything. It's about the hiring, and I know Jan touched on how hard it is to get quality care. And it is, but it's a process. So if you have the time now to place someone that you know is going to fit your personality, that fits your needs, and can grow with you before it is a crisis and it becomes much more difficult to find people. But I don't know why some people, I don't know if it's a legal thing or not.
Oh, I don't know. I'd love to answer, but I have to go.
Earlier, somebody mentioned consistency. And I say that's important because I had a best friend who had a home care person come in twice a week. And she'd say, it's bad enough getting naked in front of a stranger, but if it's a different stranger, every time someone comes in our house.
That's the one thing that our home care company is founded on. It's consistency. Like, I know that I have jumped in when one of my caregivers has been sick, and I will go to that client, and you just do it because they know me, and that's the only alternative. If we have to, if it's like Monday to Sunday, we'll get someone to switch on the weekends, but then they get used to it. You don't have a home care provider company if you don't have consistency. It's the number one prerequisite and the number one thing that people ask and they expect from a home care company. It just doesn't build a relationship. We have a 4-hour minimum, so
we don't have the, junk coming in for 2 hours. Okay, so if I gotta go next, 4 hours, and the reason we need 4 hours is to be able to provide that trust and that bond. You can't have someone coming into your home as a stranger under 4 hours and expect them to be part of your family, expect them to get to know your routine, expect them to build trust. Because you're trying to accomplish everything for you. We're expecting our caregivers come in there, you expect them to, do the dishes, clean up, do your healthy laundry. You also expect them to be there and notice things and, build that relationship with them so you can trust them. Otherwise, there's no point. And the thing with retirement homes, that wish list, all the retirement homes that I've been in and that some of our clients are in, they do have those. And there are other, it's just if you can use them. Do you want them? And are you in a retirement home to use them? Because a lot of the retirement homes now have become sort of like a segue into long-term care, like one step into long-term care. It's not really retirement, it's kind of the retirement homes are now they're waiting pools, it's waiting rooms for long-term. And I don't know why it's that way. I think all of you need to go to retirement and your collective energy and smarts would change things.
Take your list.
And take your list. But the list is there. But if you go into a retirement home right now and it's up to you to tour with Dennis, you can see the difference. You can see the clientele over 90. 85 is the average. And all walkers and things like that. Like there's very few places that have a younger, when I consider you younger. And that is, you are the young ones, right? But you have to decide. You are the young ones. Now, do you want to go and spend $6,000 a month to go and have a pool and someone to make you dinner, or do you want to stay at home and spend $6,000 on care? That'd be a lot of care. It just depends on what you want to do. You have to make that decision soon before you get the call that I get and say, my mom fell and now we need immediate care.
Can you please tell us your company again?
It's just like family home care.
Just like
family. And it sounds a little cliche, but it's exactly what we're trying to do. We're trying to build a different kind of company where, and just like Janet, it's a franchise, I'm sole business owner in Kingston. So when you deal and call me, you are actually dealing with me. You're not dealing with the college, you're not dealing with the scheduler, and getting me on the phone. So we're trying to build that difference, to show people there's a difference in home care. There's so many home care agencies out there, but the number one issue is reliability. And it's across the board. Caregivers don't show up. Caregivers are sick. Caregivers on the weekend. It's every other weekend. They don't get it.
It's closer now, and if there's anybody who would like to stay, please do. I know some are wanting to get ready to cruising, so I'm going on a cruise. So
we're gonna draw. Can I ask you, please, pick one? Thank you.
Well, ladies, this has been wonderful, hasn't it? And thank you to all of you who have had questions, have had ideas to share. It just shows you that, this presentation, which was wonderful, Janice and Stephanie, and we have lots of options, but we have to be willing to, do research, find out from this list, thank you, Janice, for that, what we need, what we want for us and our family and so on. So thank you both so much for being here, and thank you, Judy, for finding these wonderful ladies to come and present to us today. And really, that's a good time.
I don't know about Stephanie, but the pleasure truly was all of ours. Miss Emily Noble. Come on over here. And you guys go first. You get to pick whatever you want from this table.
Oh my goodness. Well, okay, if I'm heading to the nursing home, what would you suggest? The wine or the book?
Wine, there it is. Pick your home wisely. Your time home is
The wine would be absolutely fun. I'm with my folks here from Sault Ste. Marie too. Can I just take a minute, Judy?
Thank you very much. This all came about as a motion from Central Algoma Area 11, and it was Judy Drummond's tenacity to make sure that this happened, so thank you.
Lynn? Lynn? You have a beautiful outfit. Pick whichever you want from this table, madam. Those are really nice stuffed garlics. Olives, by the way. They're excellent in a martini. And June. June?
July?
Last name, oh, Julia. Julia Ashford.
Here we go. Here, I'll bring it right over.
I got it. Hands up if anybody is living anywhere between Belleville, Brockville, Kingston, and Smith Falls.
No.
Yeah, it's okay.
Smith Falls.
If you have any questions, if you have anybody that needs our services, we're your people. The rest of you, if you have any questions, grab my cards, grab Stephanie's cards. We will hook you up wherever you live with whatever you need. Okay? Thank you again for coming, everybody.